Cutting boards. I love making them, and sometimes I really don't love making them. But love or hate, the end result is always beautiful, even if some of them were made completely wrong. We're going to get into why these are wrong, and we'll also get into this video's sponsor, Acmer, but that's later on. Let's start at the beginning. I'm going to challenge you to try and spot what went wrong while I was making these cutting boards. If you notice it, comment it below. This wood is really cool. It's all scrap. It's not even my scrap. And what makes it cool isn't the wood species, walnut, hickory, maple, ash, and oak. It's not even the fact that it was free. It's how it was made. I've never heard of anyone on YouTube talk about this tool, and I've watched a lot of woodworking videos. It's called a gang saw. Imagine a planer, but instead of knives, it has a row of saw blades spaced every 2 inches. A big rough board goes in, you get beautiful clean strips in the middle, and you get these on the outside. They're not very usable, except they are for cutting boards. They are amazing for cutting boards, but they take a little bit of work. So let's get to work. I take all of this wood and I chop it into 38-inch pieces. Lots and lots and lots of pieces. Discarding anything that doesn't meet my quality standards. Yes, I actually do have some standards. These pieces already have one clean edge on them from the gang saw, so I just need to joint the other side. This was really exciting for me to have the battery power the jointer. No more dangerous blackouts mid-joint. Ah. So refreshing. And then it was time to glue up the slab. I did a similar but not identical process for 2 more slabs. And rest in peace, clamp. A few days later, it was finally time for the fun part. The router sled. Honestly, this is my favorite part of the entire process. I also upgraded my sled recently with something super handy. I think everyone with a router sled should add it if you don't already have it. I have a video planned on it soon. And if you're interested in seeing that video, you should subscribe. And if you're enjoying this video so far, you should like the video as well. And if you can comment, that would help me so much. It'd be a huge favor, and I would appreciate it very, very much. And thank you. Let's get on with the video. Well, I think the planer can finish the rest. Oh, I'm gonna have to put so much pressure and push with the thigh, the hip.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Fast forwarding a few more days, and it's time to turn these slabs into cutting boards, serving trays, steak boards, whatever you want to call them. I use my crosscut sled, which might be the best crosscut sled on YouTube, to rough cut everything to size because it might not be accurate enough to cut everything to size perfectly. I landed on 3 boards that were 8 by 12, 8 boards that were 12 by 12, and 4 boards that were 12 by 18. Some weird sizes, but some people specifically asked for them. And now we're at the part where I really did not love making these cutting boards. I wanted to run them through my planer, but the boards were too big at times, and one of my planer blades has a little chip in it, which is leaving a groove, so I had to resort to the only other option I had. Dreadful, awful, soul-destroying sanding. Now we're going back to the jointer. I'm taking all of my cutting boards and I'm going to be running them through the jointer because I need a flat reference face to square everything up. I'm getting really close to answering what's wrong with some of these cutting boards, so if you have any guesses, comment below. Now's your chance. Then I go back over to my overly complicated crosscut sled. I won't say my crosscut sled is a cat's Moses level of square, but it's doing its job. Unlike my dust collection system that is doing its best. I think the YouTuber shops look spotless because they just have an air compressor on standby and they just spray everything down every few seconds in between every shot. But it's nice that I finally cleared out all the spider webs behind me, except for that one up there. Ugh, creepy. All right, our boards are square.
You've watched for long enough. It's time to answer the question. Why are these wrong and these are correct? It's not the size of the board. Every board has been cut to the exact measurements that I wanted to cut them to. What's wrong with the boards is right here. The strip is thick over here and thin over here. And that's because of my experiment.
So I have one side that's perfectly flat and the other side that is not. Now, I'm going to be making one cutting board the wrong way. And what I mean by that, it's kind of an experiment. I'm going to use the jointer. I have one side that's already perfect, and I'm just going to run the other side until it is also smooth. Now it's going to be wedge-shaped. But I was thinking about it. What's actually stopping me from just gluing a bunch of wedges together? There's no reason why they're going to pull apart. So, is that the wrong way? Or is it just another way?
I didn't tell you that it was an experiment. Normally, I take all of my rough strips and I throw them through the planer. Now, the result of this may not be perfectly flat, but what it is parallel. When you do it this way, the result is, well, much better. Something kind of like this. And when you compare it to the other, well, the results kind of speak for themselves. I will be using this method again, specifically for chaos boards. It feels like I get a free first step. Wrong or right, good or bad, they're still gonna look good in the end.
And to do that, we're gonna use freaking lasers. Subscribe to the Timber Wizard. And that's all thanks to this video's sponsor, Acmer. Acmer has a wide variety of laser engraving machines and laser cutting machines, made for both professionals and hobbyists, and whatever you'd classify me as.
They sent over their S2 12-watt model. It can handle thin wood cutting, engraving in black acrylic, leather, wood, and more, which makes it perfect for signs, crafts, and personalized gifts and projects, which is basically what I want to use it for. I made my images using Photoshop. There are alternatives such as GIMP. I saved it as a PNG using a transparent background. Grayscale works as well. I was then able to drag and drop the image onto Laser GRBL, a free software for creating G-code, basically directions for the engraver. And then I hit play. It took me about 30 minutes to get it put together while my children swarmed me like sharks, without lasers on their heads, thankfully. I also set aside about 4 hours to get my first engraving going and had it going in 15 minutes. Overall, the experience was quite good, although that being said, my experience with engravers is limited to just this one. If you're interested in checking one out for yourself, there is an affiliate link in the description. I do earn a small commission from any purchases that are made at no additional cost to you. Okay, so just explaining something here from the edit. I have done all of the engraving in the video, but in reality, I have not done any of it because I still have to round over all of my edges and do all of my handles and do all of my final sanding. So I'm going to be getting all of that done right now, and then technically engraving, but you've already seen that. So, continuity, it's awesome.
I used a 1/4 inch roundover bit on every edge of the boards. It's a perfect balance. Big enough to feel good in the hand, but not so big that it changes the shape. After that, I wanted to add handles while keeping the boards reversible. I tried a few ideas, starting with a small U-shaped jig, 2 of them that I'd put on opposite sides, and eventually settled on a larger U-shaped jig that just went on the top. I used my T-ruler to mark a clean reference line, clamped it down, and got to work. I started with 2 clamps and then moved to 1. The small boards got a little interesting, and for the really thick ones, I wanted chunkier handles, so after marking a center line, I routed all the boards, adjusted a bit, and then made a second pass on those ones. This part felt like it took absolutely forever. Once the shaping was done, I sanded everything to 240 grit and then did all the engraving that you already saw. And then after that, I hit everything to 320, and finally, my favorite part, watched the color pop. Before I let the music take things to the end, any comments or feedback are always appreciated. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.